here, Dawn Greenfield from yogaborn.com. We're in South Windsor, Connecticut. And today I wanted to just share a quick little sequence, and I want it to serve just as a template for you as you're approaching your cycle, in your cycle, or kind of coming towards the end. All right, so just take it easy, and it's not to go too fast, and to make sure that it really feels good for your body as you go along, and to take a break if you need to. So I want to invite you to start on the hands and knees and sink back into child's pose, and just take a couple of breaths. Let the head lower, and then inhale, lift the head up, and exhale, let the head lower. Feel the hips sinking heavier, and just an inhale and an exhale to free up any tension in the neck and shoulders. And then come on forward into table and allow for the knees to come back just a little bit more. And then sink the hips back again. And this time just an easy little stretch of one arm underneath the other. The head could come down to the ground, but make sure that you're not putting too much pressure on the neck. And here, just take a few big breaths into the shoulder, into the stomach, soften the hips. And then to sweetly unwind, come on forward, divot into the back as you breathe, tailbone up, and then exhale round to the back. So just a few times like this. So you may go slow, you may go fast. I find really what's key is that at the time of our cycle is that we slow down the pace of life. And then to sink the hips back once again, to thread through the body underneath the arm. Take a big breath in and a full breath out. So I extend the arm overhead. You can always put the arm out in front of you. Again, it's just finding the shape that's best for you as your hips sink back. Sweetly unwind. Here, I want to invite you to just softly come on down onto the stomach. Hands underneath the shoulders. I roll the front of my thighs in. That feels better for my back. And then here, just a little lift and a lower. I'm going to root down into the legs, and it's just ever so slightly to inhale up and exhale down. And I invite you to do that as high or as low as you want to, just a few times. Take notice, shoulders are onto the back, the elbows, they're softly back there as well. And just a few times. Breathe into the stomach. Breathe into the back, and then from there, just let yourself soften down, bend the knees, and let your feet go side to side. Now for myself, on the days that I'm feeling really physically overwhelmed by my cycle, this right here is such a delicious relief for the hips, for the low back, for the abdominals, really soothing to breathe into the stomach. If you let the head rest to one side, turn it to the other. Okay, so I would suggest you do that a little longer, but to move on with the sequence, I invite you to come up into table, stand one foot forward, step the other foot forward, a nice bend into the knees, just let the head hang. Place the hands onto the thighs to support you to come up, and then let the whole body stretch. Again, just a very soft stretching out of the whole body. And then from there to let the arms come on down. So here, I want to invite you to step one foot into the center of the mat, the other foot pointing out to the long end of the mat. And then just to come up, to get a little bit into the legs, a little bit into the strength of the legs, to bend and straighten the front knee. Now for most women, I want to be real cautious here that the knee doesn't go beyond the ankle, so keep your eye on that, and the knee isn't to the inside of the pose or to the outside of the pose. We really want to track the knee so it's right above the ankle. From there, just go ahead and pivot the foot so you can come into a fold. So I'd suggest to bend into the knees, send the seat back, and take a few breaths in and out. And then we'll just kind of pivot over to the second side. Spin the toes, pointing to the short end of the mat, back foot pointing to the long end of the mat. See, I'm using my hands to help me up, so it doesn't have to be this huge, exaggerated thing. Just kind of going with the flow here. Bend and straighten. And again, you can do this as many times or as few times as it feels right for you. I want to get a little bit more into a hip opener. So here, I'm going to give you the option. Come on down, hands come to the floor. For me, it feels better to move my foot over to the side of the mat. I'm dragging my back knee back some more because that feels good for my architecture. And then I'm rocking the hips. Forward and back, side to side. Now, if it works well for you today, you can come on down to the forearms. And notice, this back side, it falls down to the ground. So I'm just going to play with picking it up and sinking it down. Making sure that your arms are somewhere, elbows are under the shoulders, so you're not putting a bunch of tension onto the neck. And as you breathe, just to lift and lower that back side. And then after a little bit, I'm going to invite you to just switch sides. So I'll stay on this side just so you have sort of the visual. Knee above the ankle, back knee down to the ground. And then just start to move around a little bit, side to side, back and forth. You find the movement that feels the best for you. So as I'm in my cycle, I start to feel more and more tired, in the morning especially for me. So I like to just come on down to the forearms. That works for my architecture. If it doesn't work for you, maybe a couple of blocks, maybe a few cushions off of the couch. And here I'm lifting and lowering that back head of the thigh bone. I find a lot of relief in the hips, in the low back. And then from there, coming onto the hands, knee comes back. And one more time, just sink back into child's pose. All right. And here, one last move. So this time around, into table, extend the arm underneath and through. And here, let this be more than enough. Just breathe into the stomach. Breathe to soften the eyes, soften the jaw. And you may stay there for a bit. I'm going to just switch it over to the other side. Rolling the shoulders really a little bit more towards the back of the body to open up the chest and the heart. And sweetly unwind. So here for a few breaths, depending on your energy level, you may want to be in seated, you might want to just rest on your back. But I would suggest that depending on where you're feeling the strain or the fatigue or the drain, that you just imagine, so for me, it's usually right around here, belt line area. So I just kind of get into a little bit of a practice where I imagine that I'm just drawing the energy into the body. Feeling relaxed into the seat. The eyes are closed, and just imagining that I'm pulling into the body everything that it needs as I stay with the breath. Just a nice smooth breath in and out. Breathing in and out through the nostrils is going to be very soothing for the nervous system. And again, just giving yourself the opportunity to slow down, to stay connected. So especially as we progress and evolve, we need to be paying attention to the body during our cycle. So I hope this has been some help, and I hope that you find relief. And if you want more, let me know. Dawn Greenfield from Yoga Born, and I'll see you later. Have a great day.